Shalom. First and foremost, let me give all praise and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem Akakadash. Double honors to the elders, apostles of Great Millstone, preaching his word truthfully and sincerely. Shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching his word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, that be like unto the speckled bird, that be. And shalom to the Akim, once again, Salakia for that. That be like unto the speckled bird, preaching his word, truthfully, faithfully, strongly, and sincerely. And I say, shalom to your Akim out there. And the title of the sit down lesson is going to be, in the news, another in the news article I just seen recently, and I'm finna show it. And this is from ArabNews.com, and this is Scourge killed as fighting intensifying near Marib city. I believe that's in Yemen. And this was posted updated 22 seconds ago, September 29th, 2021. And read on with the article. It says the Al Makala, more than 150 Houthis and Yemen government troops have been killed in a fierce clash outside the central city of Marib. And it says Rashad al-Makhalif, a military official, said the Yemen Forces Guidance Departments told Arab News from Arab that the army troops and allied tribesmen have engaged in clashes with the Houthis in different locations south of the city, and including Marib and Jabal and Marib. Hundreds of Houthis have been killed in a past 72 hours in the clashes in precision strikes by the coalition warplane compares to 50 deaths amongst our troops. Al-Makali said, while denying media reports that the Houthis have laid siege to the city of Marib. And continue on with the article. It says thousands of combatants and civilians have been killed in the area since the Iran-backed Houthis early this year. A renewed offense to recapture energy-rich Marib, the government last bastions in the north. Last week, the Houthis rolled out a new area south of Marib after tightening their grip on two districts in neighboring al-Bada and Sabra province. And continue on, the most serious Houthis advance that could threaten the Marib is in the southern district of Marib, where the Houthis seized new areas by the Yemen army has dispatched troops and military equipment to push back. Al-Makali said the Houthis have moved most of their fighters from the outer fronts to Marib. Marib is an important battlefield for the Houthis, as the Iranians, he said. I think that's an Iran-backed ally, I believe. And it says Yemen army officials said that more than 40 armed vehicles and items of military equipment belonging to the Houthis have been destroyed in airstrikes in Marib province during the last 72 hours. Despite the suffering and heavy losses in Marib, the rebels have pressed ahead with the offense and reject local and international calls to de-escalate and accept the unbroken peace. That's important right there. And I'm going to read it again. It says, despite the suffering and heavy losses in Marib, the rebels having pressure ahead with the offenses and reject local and international calls to de-escalate and accept the UN broken peace efforts. Just like the scripture says, rough paraphrase, when they're trying to have peace deals with these other nations, trying to break treaties and pieces and everything like that. Like the scripture says through the Holy Scriptures, when they say peace and safety, sudden destruction come upon them. And read on with the article, and it says aid organizations have repeatedly warned that the Houthi attacks on Marib city, including missiles and drone strikes, put hundreds of thousands of international displaced people who live there at risk. If the Houthis manage to capture the city of Marib, along with the oil and gas fields and power stations, the militant would get an important bargain chip during the talks about the future of the country. And experts say, and continue on, the general of Marib, Bahaki, if I pronounced that right, a Yemen commander who was slightly wounded during the latest clashes with the Houthis of the Marib, saying the Yemen armies and allies tribesmen keep fighting until Houthis are defeated and are pushed out of the area under their control. So, that basically, they fighting for the Houthis and the other armies and everything like that. They fighting for control of Yemen over there in that area. So I believe expect to see, intense fighting over there. So, that and the scripture that comes to mind, that's that nation shall rise against nation. You should hear wars and rumors of wars. You're seeing that right now as I'm reading this article, And I'm going to continue on with the article. It says, we will fight to the last drop of our blood because we are defending our religion and our dignity, our homeland, and everything Bahar Beg said. And he said, meanwhile, the Yemen army and the Houthis on Wednesday swiped dozens of prisoners in the southern province and Tazi. After a success meditation led by local tribes and social figures, the Yemen army released 70 Houthis in exchange for 136 army soldiers and civilians. So yeah, I ain't gonna read all of the article. So yeah, it's showing right there, still you got wars and rumors of wars and different nations around the world. You got heavy clashes of all these other different nations with the Yemen pro-government fighters going against the Houthis. They're trying to control the area over there, and the government, the Yemen army, and their back allies trying to get the country back in full control. So, you still got war with those different type of nation factors right there in that country over there, in that region over there in Yemen, And I'm going to bring a scripture that comes into mind. Because, it's showing signs that it's still intense fighting around the world, And this is the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 9. Proclaim thee among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near and let them come up. Right, because you're seeing that right now. You're seeing these nations of getting prepared for war, like you see North Korea. I think I did a sit down lesson on that, and I had uploaded that in the news as well too. As a news article as well too. That was believed yesterday. Said North Korea did their missile test and it was successful. And I say, like, in the past week or two so far, North Korea and South Korea, they've been doing their missile tests and everything like that. And then reading an article right now, just got through reading it, but I ain't read it all the way, but I read enough information about, its indications of, we still are living in a time of war wars and rumors of wars. The second woe is past. Behold, the third woe coming quickly. As you know, seeing the article right here, they still got intense fighting in these different countries and stuff like that. And then you get uproars of the people, you know, especially with that situation going on over there in the UK, London, I believe, of over the gas thing. People fighting each other over gas. Stabbing each other and stuff like that. And these are the signs of times that we are living in. So. But other than that, that's another topic at hand. But I was focusing on on this article right here. It says scores of killed fighting intensifies in Marib city. These are indications that we are still in the processes of men are still at war around the world as well too, and expect for that to continue to intensify in these last days. Like I mentioned before, again, I'm gonna say it for the second time. According to the biblical scriptures, second woe is past. Behold, the third woe coming quickly. You're gonna continue to see more woes around the world. Uproars of the people. Waking up the mighty man. The nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. These different organization factors going against each other, around the world. So with that, I hope this was edifying through the spirit, power, grace, and mercy of Yahweh Yahushai. And first and foremost, I'd like to give all praise and glory to Yahweh Bashem, Yahushai Bashem, Rekakadash. Double honors to the elders, apostles of Great Millstone, preaching his word truthfully and sincerely. Shalom, Shalom, Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching his word truthfully, faithfully, strongly, and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, that be like unto the speckled bird, preaching his word truthfully, faithfully, strongly, and sincerely. Until the next time, I will say shalom. So, we're living in a time of prophecies. That third woe is coming up quickly. That World War III. That second woe is past. Behold, the third woe coming quickly. Like in the book of Joel say, wake up the mighty man. You're seeing that right now. With all these military defenses and stuff like that, doing missile launches and stuff like that. You're seeing these heavy earthquakes. Recently Japan, they just had the earthquakes, and we're seeing these signs of the times that we are living in, expected to see more increased earthquakes in diverse places, more protests around the world, uproars of the people, if it's from a political standpoint, from an economic standpoint, from a war tactic standpoint, and all these multiple different things are signs and indications that we are living in the signs of the times, and expect to see more prophecies that come to pass as well too. And you seeing prophecies are being fulfilled as well too in these last days. So with that, I will say shalom.